What's going on YouTube? Today we got a 2014 Kawasaki Z1000. We're going to be showing you how to take both wheels off and on. Uh, Relatively not that hard. You are going to need some good sized Allen wrenches, or say, let's see, where is it at? I know where it's at. You make this three-sided Allen. Or suggest getting some large, big sockets or whatever. But anyways, take you along, show you how to get it done. It's not that hard. Just gonna do it. The back wheel is pretty easy. The way this works is your axle's here, and then you got this big puck type thing. And this is off center, so you can put an Allen in here and rotate this. And what it does is it'll either, if you rotate it this way, it'll tighten the chain, or rotate it this way, it'll loosen the chain. Okay? But this pinch bolt right here holds this from rotating. But we don't need to mess with this if the chain's good. We'll mess with that later if need be. So you got this little clip. See if I can't get you in a little closer to get it what it looks like. Alright. Basically, just grab one end, pull it in. That's it. It's just kind of like a little clip. There's one on the other side as well. Let's do that. A 12mm Allen. And then on the other side of the axle, if you need it, is an 8mm. I suggest trying to break this one loose. But what those clips are is in case the axle comes loose, it doesn't want to come out. Trim it. You'll see the whole thing's rotating now. So I'm going to have to get another ratchet to hold the other end from rotating. There we go. Alright. We're going to go to the other side and pull the axle out. So the axle did, as I was rotating it on this side, it did pull out a little bit. So come on. There you go. Oh boy. A little bit of corrosion. What we're going to do is roll the wheel forward, roll the chain off, gently set it off to the side. This chain needs some love. What we're going to do with the caliper is leave it. Basically, it's got this bar on the bottom here. You can't see it. Just going to roll the wheel back. And as it's slowly coming out, once that comes out of the rotor comes out of the caliper, like that, we're going to twist the wheel. See, I'm going to twist the wheel. Clear, be careful, and clear the caliper. Okay, we got a spacer on this side. Got a spacer right here. For some reason, Kawasaki's are always kind of tough getting this drive hub off. I usually come from the back side and hit it with the handle of my hammer. Let's go do the front. First thing you do when you lift this bike up is if you lift it up normally underneath here, you're probably going to be blocking these two bolts. So lift it up from the bottom of the caliper bracket if you can. If not, loosen these bolts up first, then lift the bike up. We're going to take a 6mm Allen and just loosen these up. Make sure the Allen goes in all the way, bottoms out. Just got to loosen them, don't got to take them out. Next, we're going to take a 14mm Allen. We're going to loosen up the axle. These pinch bolts are only on this side. Next, I'm going to take the calipers off. I'm going to use a 12mm socket. What I'm going to do is slide the slide the caliper just out a little bit. And I like to take one of the bolts, make sure they're out the hole. Take one of the bolts and use it as leverage to open the brake pad. Give it a twist. Don't have to muscle it. And then as you take it out, roll it off. Just let it hang. We'll do the other side real quick. I'll support the wheel from the bottom. Slide my axle out, like so. I'm going to slide forward. Watch them calipers. We do have spacers on both sides. Set them down on the side they came off of. That's it for now. Come back and show you how to put everything back. You have time to put it back on. First thing you want to do is make sure that before you leave the shop or wherever you're having them change the tires, make sure the tires go in the correct direction. With most wheels, there's somewhere on one of the spokes there's casted and arrow, but this one's real easy because the ABS sensor is on the left side of the bike, so sensor's on that side, so that's real easy to determine. So first thing we're going to do, put our wheel spacers in. Grab our axle. Ever so gently raise up the wheel. Make sure not to knock out any spacers. And watch your calipers. There we go. I'm going to line up the other side. Oh, come on, where are you hitting? There we go. There we go. We'll grab our 14mm Allen. There we go. 6mm Allen. You're going to do the outside first. Now these torques aren't really high. And we're going to do the inside one. Make sure the Allen's in there. And we'll go back to the outside one. Retorque it. That's it. Now, grab our caliper, check our brake pads, we are good. Roll it onto your caliper. Always start your hardware by hand first. That's it for the front. We're going to spin the wheel, take off your sticker, spin the wheel, we're good, pump your brakes up. There we go. Solid, let's go do the back. Alright, first thing we're going to do is put our rubber isolators in. We're going to check them, make sure there's no damage. These little nipple parts stick outward. Then we're going to grab our hub. There's this spacer. The thinner part will fit inside the bearing. So make sure that stays in there. And just wiggle it on. If it's too much fuss, take a rubber mallet. You can see when it's all the way in. Put our spacer on this side, I'll grab the other spacer, put that on. Same way we took it off, we're going to go in on an angle. Watch the wheel on the caliper. Try not to scratch anything. Then, you need to do is, the caliper's kind of floating on some pins. See it's moving? So we need to try to line the rotor up between the pads if we can. Try something. Grab something and kind of open the pads up a little bit. There we go. Let's try that. Put them in. I have to lift them up there. Uh-oh. Watch your spacers. Both sides were good. Be careful of your ABS sensor. If you don't feel comfortable, you can always take it out. The other spacer was kind of holding us up. There we go. Alright, we're in. Check your brake pads. Make sure there's one on each side. Put our chain on. We're going to start at the top. Kind of roll the wheel forward a little bit. Walk your chain on all the way around. Now, I got this supported on the bottom, and I can already tell we're too high. I'm going to lower my stand deal down. Take our axle. Let's see about getting it. There we go. Started. Take my rubber mallet. Shouldn't have to beat the hell out of it to get it in. Alright guys, here where we're at. I loosened up this pinch bolt and I've taken out the adjustment. For some reason, the space, it's not wanting to go in that far. I'm thinking the first spacer on the wheel is not lining up correctly, and it's such a tight fit that it doesn't want to go any further. So I'm going to slide that over the axle, slide in as this is in as far as I can, and then get that in there. Tap our axle in, line it up with our caliper bracket. What you do is you take that 12 mil, goes into here. Oh, what? There we go. Do the caliper bracket now. And we're in the other side. So what I'm going to do is, there's a notch on the swing arm right here, and notches on this puck. I'm going to match it up to the other side because that was the same. We were at 3.5. So, there. But, take our 8mm. I'll show you. Now that that's tight, the axle's tight, we're going to double check, see it moved. We should be able to move this. 3.5. Double check our chain tension. Probably a little on the tight side. So I'm going to back it off a half a turn. That might be a little loose. We'll do a quarter. That's better. Tighten this up. I'm going to take it. Should be able to do this by hand. I like to have it at the top, but get half of it in. Kind of just walk it around until it fully snaps in. So, same thing on the other side. Give it a good spin. Pump the brakes up, which I already done. We'll take it for a spin. Well, that was a little bit of a pain in the rear tire, but you know, got it to work. So, anyways, yeah, that's how you take both wheels off and on this guy. 2014 Kawasaki Z1000. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below if you want to criticize me. Just be gentle. And make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Adios.